What is up, guys, and welcome to this Westworld video. So I was going to do another video where I'm just kind of streaming and putting my thoughts on what's going on in geek culture, but my stream just does not want to work. So sorry if you're there watching my stream. I'm streaming over on twitch.tv/Superheronexus and Mixer on Superheronexus MXR. So this is very interesting, this episode of Westworld. It has possibly been my favourite episode so far of Westworld. I have personally loved every single minute of this season. It's been a bit too complicated. I found the whole storyline with multiple Doloreses a bit convoluted. Unfortunately, each episode has kind of compounded and exacerbated the fact that it just seems a bit convoluted there. However, I have really enjoyed it, and what is interesting here is the fact that, well, the story is coming full circle. So we had some background information over here on Westworld about Serac. Now, full disclosure here, I try not to watch the trailers for the next episodes. So I try not to watch this week's episode. I didn't watch the trailer for it at all. I wasn't really that interested because I don't really want spoilers. I know this is a kind of a theory video and that, but it's just nice sometimes to not have any spoilers at all, which is good. But seeing the background of Serac was really cool. Vincent Cassel, who's playing the character of Serac, was amazing. Seeing the young version of him, the casting of the young version was really good. Man, seriously, it was really good seeing that. And the younger version of his brother was also very interesting, to say the least. Now, what's curious here is the fact that we are seeing life as a circle. Obviously, Rabome has a circle here, and we've seen some interesting events happen so far. But life is a circle, and it's coming again in Season 3 as full circle, because if you remember, we had people being, or at least hosts, the first and the second season was the story of the hosts coming out of their shell somewhat. So it's seeing them come out of their consciousness, becoming real, or at least trying to. One thing which I thought that was the story was with Dolores revealing and trying to free her people. So she's the Moses somewhat of Westworld there, which is curious. But we never saw others escape with her. I know, obviously, she is the super powerful one. We've seen Mayev also come out. But I can't help but feel the story would be a bit better if we had other characters, other hosts who were let go or freed by Dolores, and they see her as a saviour and they support her. But she's just got her consciousness. There's 5 versions of her. We don't know where the 5th one is. Possibly it's in Berlin, as we saw. 5 connected calls, and one of them was in Berlin. The rest we know exactly where they are. So seeing the backstory of Serac leads us to, for him, want to be a god. He wants to control people, but as we see, he had a noble thing of wanting to save people. He wanted to save people, but, well, he hasn't. He's imprisoned them, much like William has with his hosts. He weirdly created Dolores, put Bernard's consciousness, or kind of put his co-creator's consciousness into a host, and then he also had it with James Delos. He's putting these consciousness into hosts, and originally I thought that the whole point of Westworld was really so they could replace humanity, which is interesting because that's also a similar thing where they want to save humanity and let them be immortal. But Serac is trying to save humanity in a different way over in the real world. If we can, more on that a bit later. So again, we've got someone with a god complex, a saviour complex as well. There with Serac, as he is trying to imprison. He's succeeded imprisoning people there. Now, what's interesting is the fact that, well, Dolores is now trying to free humanity. She's freed Caleb from everything there. She's freed him from the prison of his kind of predetermined life. So now she is going forth and trying to do that. Now, I'm not really sure what her game is here. This seems to be a bit weird, and I feel like they need to kind of settle on what they want their central story arc to be, which is what the problem with my problem I had with Mr. Robot and the TV show Legion. They were great, don't get me wrong. It's just they need to kind of, decide what they actually are. Which again could be a testament to the show, because people can't really decide what they actually are. Am I a YouTuber or a streamer? I can't decide. Just want to be successful in anything that I do. But what we've got here going forward is the story. It's repeating itself. People with they eventually revealed everyone's sort of file they had. Then we saw riots in the streets, and then there was normal people going around their day. More on, I'm going to pick up on that a bit later. I'm going to return to that point. But it is the same as Westworld, where people go to the park to be free. It's funny, they go to a place where robots have consciousness but are limited. They go there to be free. Very similar, the same thing. People on the subway going to the park, reading their file on their character and who they are, going towards everything. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's cool. That they're going circling back and that there. Let me know what you think. Obviously in the comments down below on that. But that's where we're at. But Serac is now hunting Dolores. What's curious is that, well, we have these things called outliers. These outliers who do not fit the data. Unfortunately, Serac's brother was sent to these re-education camps, and again, it's similar to the Hive. I can't remember the exact name of it from season 1 and 2, where they kind of take the hosts and fix them and all that sort of thing. Well, that's what they have basically here. These camps are to edit people and edit their stories so they fit in with the narrative of a perfect world. But it's not necessarily people being good, it's just people trying to fit into the projections of what they want the world to actually be. So we have petty criminals, that's who they end up being. The world kind of needs crime, I guess. That's kind of a bit tenuous at best there, to say the least. But I really enjoyed the episode. It was definitely the best one yet. Maybe Vincent Castle, his kind of backstory was really cool. I love seeing backstories. The backstories in Lost of Ben, the backstory of Desmond as well in Lost. It's really cool seeing these characters, seeing characters who are mysterious and seeing where they come from, but the past is still mysterious, to say the least. But we know now how a Rabone was made, and what's interesting is that each one of these names, of versions they had, was actually a Israelite king, which was pretty cool. It's just interesting. But what happening here is that, so one interesting thing is that in the past we had the Paris drop or bomb or whatever happened, or whoever dropped that bomb on Paris. Well, in the preceding parts of before the show, we had teasers showing the circle with predicting events, and one of them was a thermonuclear event in Paris. Now, that obviously lines up with the fact that they modelled past events. They used the data, put in data they already had from obviously the past, predicted what would happen in the future, and then obviously matched it up to what actually happened, and that was the bomb there, the bomb that happened, which is pretty cool. That's interesting. That's another little tidbit to go off, and maybe we can see more things that have happened in the past by going to look at these videos as well, which I haven't really had time to do, which is weird because I'm in lockdown. I have nothing else to do. I just ended up watching the film yesterday and more Clone Wars, and I'm addicted to the Clone Wars. But the episode as a whole was good. Caleb, I think he was, as a child, sent to one of these re-education camps. I think that what they do, so we saw the early part of it with Serac's brother, and I think what we've done here, what they have in the future, they start to find these outliers, they kidnap them and use them for their own gain and make them fit in with where the projections actually lie. It's interesting that he's got a little watch where the computer is, and the little watch has a circle and you can see when there is an outlier. We saw that at the end. So that's going to be big there. I think they're going to drop hints as to other bits and pieces there. The question is now, is this a real world? Is this a real world? Probably not. I think that we still might be in a mirror world. bits and pieces from the preceding episodes where we see the same bits and they're in a mirror world. They're mirrored or they're changed a bit. They add humanity is added to it. The bare bones. I mean, there's a speech by Charlotte Hale which sounds like Priti Patel is doing it, and then she actually has an impassioned speech there. A bit of a dig there into our Home Secretary in the UK. But other than that, I do think we're in a mirror world. I think it's a Matrix of style world where we get to see that's how it works, which I think that would be cool. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that would be cool? I do. I actually do. But the rest of that is what is Dolores' end goal? Maybe it's just taking down Serac. The question is, and what I think is really cool is the fact that we now know why people are more inclined to go to Westworld. They are unknowingly absolutely downtrodden and beaten by society, so they want to go to Westworld to try and actually have some free reign. Even the people who are super rich, they would be constrained as well to fit this world and fit their role, and there is a narrative that is coming through. So the real world is basically Westworld itself. There is a narrative set for you by someone else, and you can try it and do what you want, but you can't. So that's where I think the theme is going to go next, and I think that William and also or kind of just William himself, maybe he wanted to do this and set up the maze and Dolores to try and actually get through and just absolutely bust out this world that has been created for them already. But that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you interested? Do you like more of these videos? Do you prefer this video to when I do it on a stream? Check out our stream, Superheronexus and Superheronexus MXR, on Twitch and Mixer respectively. But that's it. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.